More Skibidi Toilets, non-police ones, began to coalesce into the area, reinforcing the police toilets. "What's your name?" Ryoko asked. Mikaru Kozu. "I'm Ryoko. I need you to stay on task, and hopefully there will be a break where you can dash away. Until then I need you to keep fighting, okay?" spoke Ryoko. "Yes ma'am," Mikaru stuttered with fear. Ryoko fired off another shot. "Ma'am." "Geez, you make me feel old," replied Ryoko. Mikaru and Ryoko continued to fire. Mikaru unloaded another clip. Her nerves made it hard for her to eject it and load another one in, but she managed. "Miss Ryoko," said Mikaru, "don't let me become a toilet." "If it comes to that, I'll take care of you," answered Ryoko. The fight dragged on. Mikaru covered in cold, nerve-wracking fear sweat. She became hyper-focused on the toilets in front of her. She didn't see the one closing in from her left side. Its long neck stretched out, its mouth open, drool salivating and dripping from its teeth, and eyes set on her smooth, fair, fully exposed thigh. At the last second she saw it out of the corner of her eye, but it was too late. Even Ryoko didn't see it. Then the distinct flushing sound. The head stopped, its eyes wide with terror as it looked back, only to begin to twist and swirl and be sucked down its own bowl. Mikaru turned to see a massive figure in the shadows, release the plunger from his hand, and kick the now dead toilet over. The figure was male, standing just shy of 2.1336 meters. "Gut Nacht. Get es dir gut, Fräulein," he said. The man walked towards Mikaru as the other toilets halted for the moment. She watched him as he emerged from the shadow of the alley, his features illuminating. Short gray shaggy hair, strong chiseled face and jawline, stubble, Caucasian, dull hazel eyes, black dress shirt with a high wraparound collar with a buckle in the shape of an iron cross, light gray well-tailored suit, a bandolier of M67 fragmentation grenades slung across his chest from right to left, a thick, heavy, darker gray trench coat over top, black leather gloves, black leather dress shoes, and a large customized silver Smith & Wesson 629 revolver. "Lex Gunther, German GSG-9, he introduced himself. "Mikaru." Lex raised his revolver and fired, interrupting Mikaru. She shuddered and scrunched up even smaller than she already was at the blast and shockwave of the magnum round discharge. The round boring into a skibidi that had taken the moment and thought it had snuck up unnoticed, had eviscerated it, tearing its neck in twain and devastating the porcelain below it. Mikaru turned back and began to burst fire once more, as Lex picked his targets and fired at the skibidis getting in closer. Ryoko continued her support, picking off toilets in the distance. Their gunfire began to quail. As no more toilets poured into the area, Lex broke open the cylinder of his revolver, discharging the spent casings. He reached into the interior of his trench coat and retrieved a moon clip and reloaded the revolver's cylinder before flicking it shut. "You should refresh your magazine," Lex said to Mikaru. Mikaru jolted nervously. "Right," she answered as she ejected the old magazine and replenished it with a new full one. "Where is your support?" Lex asked Mikaru. Mikaru muttered, confused. "The sniper covering you," clarified Lex. "Oh, Miss Ryoko." "I don't know," she answered. Mikaru began to speak into the comm. "Miss Ryoko, what do I do now?" Ryoko let the rifle down, resting it on its pistol grip. She pushed back a little and turned gently on her left side, only to catch a quick racing fear throughout her body with the accompanying cold, damp sweat. She quickly reached back for the grip of her rifle, but stopped mid-reach, realizing the thing standing a few meters from her was not one of the dreaded toilets. The thing looked like a giant security camera, white exterior, boxy shape tapering off to a hood over the lens, a reddish-pink hue dimly glowing from said lens, 4 legs, one on each corner. They were crude, primitive-looking, just attached to the outside of the camera, rounded at the top, slightly tapering in width near the bottom where they became flat and squared off. Finally, it had a tail of metal braided wire with another smaller camera mounted to the end. It was prehensile and moved more agile and freely. The tail camera looked at her, then surveyed the overall area before the whole thing started to walk away, disappearing over the far edge of the building roof. Ryoko looked around to see more of the faint reddish-pink glow on the rooftops and sides of the adjacent buildings, before they too moved on. Must be a new drone of some kind, she whispered to herself, relieved. Miss Ryoko, she heard Mikaru's voice over the comm again. Ryoko reached down and from her waistband pulled out a small square mirror. She slid over to the edge of the roof next to the muzzle of her rifle and leaned out with the mirror. She began to twist the mirror from side to side. Can you see the light on the top of the building behind you? Ryoko asked. Mikaru and Lex both turned and looked up, seeing a small, barely noticeable white light flickering at the top of the building. Yes, we see you, replied Mikaru excitedly. That's where I am. I need you to come to me, instructed Ryoko.